to another edition of Landscaping to the Point. I am your host, Scott. I have a special guest right next to me. He is, I don't know where he's at, but it is a warm place. I'll tell you guys that. My special guest is Tristian from Lawn Express LLC. Tristian, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what all you do. I mean, this is a lawn care landscaping podcast, but you never know what you do. I mean, let's hear it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, first off, thanks, Scott, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. But yeah, so Lawn Express Lawn Care started when I was almost like 14 years old. So actually wasn't even a company back then. Just, kind of push mowed some neighbors' yards and never really stopped doing that. And, it was always a good form of money. And I was working at Publix for a little bit. I did that for like 8 years, and I was just kind of just tired of the repetitiveness, the same old story, same old thing. So I just kind of blew up Lawn Express. I love it. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. We do anything from landscaping, mulch installs, rock installs, and then from maintenance. We do a lot of customers maintenance wise. So we just do a lot of outdoor projects, sprinklers, roof blow offs, you name it. We kind of do it. And then, within the landscaping, I'm sure a lot of landscapers find this, but like a lot of customers ask us to do hauling and, hey, while you're here, can you haul this mattress for me or whatever? And that ended up getting to be like a pretty big deal. So I also opened up another company, McConnell's Hauling and Express. And so I have two companies going. That one just does like my hauling jobs from Lawn Express. But I just kind of separated from there. But that's a little bit about me.
That's pretty good. I mean, so you started at 14. You were probably just wanted the extra cash, right? Just to
Yeah,
have
I
some
was,
cash for
I
your
was
kids.
mowing our yard, and then I was like, "Hey, let me get the neighbor." So I got the neighbor, and I got the neighbor's neighbor, and then I just never stopped, and it was just a good form of money. And I was, I wanted to buy my first car and get my insurance, so it was just a good form of payment. Back then I was making $7 an hour at Publix, and
Right.
that's not very good. So
No, no, no.
mowing lawns was the way to do it, and that I just kind of just never stopped. So it was a good time.
That's amazing, dude. I congratulate you, dude. Not many young kids want to continue into it once they get out of high school. Usually out of high school, they're like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna go do this other stuff, or I'll make money
Yep.
somewhere else." They don't see the potential in like our industry. Like they always look outside the thing and say, "Oh yeah, I can make 100 grand being an air pilot. You can make 100 grand doing this." Like
Yep.
it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
Like it's the same thing. So
And you can work less hours, you can work
yep.
your own hours. You don't have no sleep schedules like being a pilot. You have those sleep schedules that you have to make, and nobody's telling you when to take your lunch breaks. You get to do whatever you want, and that's the freedom of it is what I've always loved.
Right. Oh yeah, that's the same way with me, man. I started out young too. I kind of started right out working into, a company right off the bat, right out of high school, and started my stuff literally not much after I started this other company working with them. So, it's always good to start younger and actually see what it's going through and then see how it changes throughout the years and grows. And I think you've grown, from mowing all the way up into dumpster hauling. Like you said, I see a lot of people doing that because there's always that customer that's asking for something new to be done. So
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more services you offer, the more clientele you can get, and it really helps.
it helps you grow. Really, it helps you
Yeah.
grow. It helps your business. How many employees you got, Tristan?
Right now I got Justin and Corey, so I got two
Okay,
working with me.
okay. On a peak season, how many do you keep mowing out and doing mowing and all that
So
stuff?
so I got them running the gas truck, and as you guys have been
Okay,
watching, I've been doing the electric stuff. So I'm trying to build the electric side of the company, and so what we're doing is we're not having like one section is gas, one section's electric. We're trying to give the customers an option, and and that's our way of getting more customers too, because you have your stay-at-home moms that they just put the baby down. They don't want that two-stroke backpack blower right there at their front door blowing off the front porch at 1 o'clock or whatever the case may be. So
right.
we're trying to pick up customers like that. We just got picked up some nurses that work the overnight shift. We just picked up a Marriott. They have guests sleeping all hours of the day. And, you go in there and you blow off that front porch with a 2-cycle backpack blower. I mean, it's going to stink. It's going to smell up.
Right.
So, having that electric is being pretty much very beneficial to me so far, just by clientele aspects for sure.
So why did you want to go all battery? Just because you know there was a potential for more work, or what?
Yeah, so there's that, and I also wanted to be a little different, right? So you see all these cities, and then you see these states like starting to ban them, and I'm
Right.
here in Florida, so we kind of do the opposite of what New York does. But eventually it's going to come time to be that, and if I'm already there, I'm not going to have a huge change, and plus it's something that I can offer my customers that could also benefit them. So it was just, let me be a little different. There's not really many people that do full electric. That's not really heard
Right.
of. So now it's like a lot of customers like, oh, am I going to get the same quality? Well, yeah,
Right.
you're actually going to get better quality because I'm not, putting all the exhaust into the yards and et cetera, something along the lines of that. But yeah, so like 3 years ago, we went to Expo for the first time, and it was like I would say probably 80% gas and 20% battery. And we ended up picking up or getting a piece of equipment there that was electric. And then last year we went, it was like almost 50-50. There was a lot more electric than there was the year before. So I'm like, okay, so this has got to be something that's going to be the new modern in the green, industry. So let me just try to put something together. And I just slowly kept picking up pieces here and there, here and there. And then I talked to my fiance and I'm like, look, I think it's time we get a trailer, and this is going to be a risk, but let's just try it. I've done it
Right.
before with gas. Let's try it with electric. So now we're in the middle of that, and it's doing pretty good. And I don't look back and hate the decision that I made. So that's good.
That's
um,
that's always good.
yeah,
So do you,
absolutely.
so do you have a fully electric truck too?
No,
Not
no,
yet.
fully diesel.
Fully diesel.
Not-
Going the opposite way there, Tristan. Come on,
Yeah,
like.
that's fully opposite there. But what I did like is I have the plugs, right? So like for my Echo chargers, it plugs into a wall outlet. I have like four wall outlets in the truck, so I
Okay.
can charge inside the truck for right now, and then I'm going to be working on a solar panel thing for the roof down into a charging bank, so I can start charging as I go, and that's like the future plans. But
Okay.
yeah, electric truck, I don't know. We're gonna have to see on that.
I mean, they're out there. I feel like they don't have the power like we need to haul like an enclosed trailer, all fully loaded. I mean, mowers are not light at any point in at anything. So
Yeah, at
just
all.
as you start adding more and more equipment. I mean, that electric truck, I don't know if it's going to handle that. Pulling all
Yeah,
that stuff. So I mean, going for diesel. I mean, yeah, you're kind of fighting it, but it's actually probably better to haul everything. So
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, so I just built the gas company off of a Power Stroke, and
Okay.
I personally believe that I ran into every failure that a Power Stroke can have, which is a
Right.
terrible thing, but it's a great thing because now
Right.
I know like how to react to it, how to fix it, what to look out for. So when we were looking for a second truck, I was just like, I want to stick to that 6.7 Power Stroke. I know if you just take that DCR out and you do it from the CP4 to the DCR, and then you do take out that emissions, it's just a reliable truck. And then like the red truck that you guys see on the channel, it's got over 700,000 miles on that truck.
Wow.
And
Wow.
literally, it just runs like a freight train down the road, doesn't stop. And I mean, yeah, I've had some failures with it, but I mean, it's definitely paid for itself time and time and time again. So I just had to have that reliability in that 6.7. So that's why I kind of nervous about the electric truck, especially like you were saying, how heavy those
Yeah.
mowers are. The electric mowers are super heavy.
Oh
So
yeah.
I have two 60-inch mowers, one stander, one sit down, plus push mowers and all the other stuff. So it's like a
Right.
very heavy trailer. So that's definitely something I got to worry about.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, the mowers I run, I know are at least 800 to 1,000 pounds a piece. So I mean, even going battery, I mean that battery's heavy too. So I
Yeah.
mean that adds a lot of weight too. So
It's got,
it's better
I
to
believe it's 200 pounds in just batteries. I think each battery's 50 pounds, and there's four in each mower. So that would be 400 total and two
yeah.
mowers.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's a lot of weight
just,
right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
just in batteries right there. And
Yeah.
then we got four extra batteries on top of that for spares in case you run out. So you got some weight in that trailer.
Okay. So you really just built this whole system up. How long have you ran the mowers? Have you got them earlier this year? Did you have them last year, or is this something I know you went electric more on all the equipment this year and the trailer. So
Yep.
Is
It's
everything all brand new?
everything's brand new.
Okay.
Everything's brand new. Trying it all out, brand new. I didn't get a
Okay.
chance. I mean, I've driven some at like the expos. You can go out into the yard and you can drive them around and stuff. But I mean, this is like my first year actually getting my hands on in actual customers' yards with fully electric equipment, and I'm loving it.
That's
So,
good.
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So how how many customers do you have that are just electric route so far?
Right now, so far, I only got about 10.
Okay.
And that's, I give some people the option, and then, they'll go, oh, I don't mind the gas. Well, if you don't
Right.
mind the gas and you already happen to be next to a customer with a gas, I'm just going to throw you on that schedule.
Right.
So I'm trying to like build it a little bit closer to my house. Like, for instance, I just picked up a Marriott. That one is a little bit further, but the pay is a little bit better. So that's fine. But I'm trying to pick up like my neighbors. I'm trying to pick up, basically, like I can't really show you with roadways, but pretty much
Right.
like a 5 mile radius is what I'm trying to stick to do the fully electric.
Yeah, I think anybody that has any route, you always want to be closer. I mean, when I first started out, my routes were all over the place. I mean, I drove
Yeah,
miles and miles, and now we're literally down to like a 10-mile radius to where we kind of keep ourselves, and that's literally going from our shop to our furthest point, and we kind of
yeah,
bring ourselves in. So I mean, we like to be close together, and that's I think everybody should be that way. I mean, starting
yeah.
out as a business, you kind of take wherever you can, but you want to eventually come back and be a nice tight route where you're a couple streets and you're in and out, and bam, you made more money than you would be driving all over the city. So,
For sure,
uh,
for sure. And where I kind of live, it's a little bit difficult like that because I'm on a peninsula. So like
okay,
we're like 5 main roads and that's it. So like you got to take bridges places. So where I'm at,
right,
like we'll have like one day we'll do like our Bayshore, around Bayshore. Tuesday we'll go out to like Brandon area. Wednesday we do like Seminole Heights. Thursday and Friday we start working our way back to Tampa, and then we do South Tampa on Friday. So we have it structured by days. So like if a customer calls me from Brandon, it was like, hey, can you get me on your schedule? Well, Brandon days on Tuesdays. I'll happen to be there on Tuesday if we could fill that schedule. So that's
right,
how we do it with our gas schedule. But with the electric, with it being so heavy, and with you only have so many batteries, so you can only do so many in a certain a day. I'm just trying to keep it like a 5 mile radius and try to keep it on this peninsula. So
okay,
and it's
yeah,
and it's working out pretty good.
that sounds good. I mean, I think that is pretty good. I mean, I get what you're saying, but with that not many streets, you kind of want to keep it, as close as you can and try to keep it tight, and that's good. Um, what's what's your planned return on investment so far for all this put in? Do you think it's going to take you 5 years to return on the investment on that you put into it, or like a year, 2 years?
I would hope to say probably closer to 2 years.
Okay, that's good.
Because I'm picking up some pretty big clients, but the thing is I'm not running a gas, right? So I don't have a
Right,
gas bill. And one of my biggest worries when I first started this is like I don't want to take like an existing gas bill and make an electric bill, right? So I
right,
didn't want to exchange that. But what I've noticed is like I'll bring my batteries in at night, I'll charge them up and etc. But I really haven't noticed a huge increase on my electric bill, if any. I mean, if
right,
any.
right,
So it's kind of hard because it's starting to get hotter now, so we're like running our ACs a little bit more. So it's kind of hard to like see how much power I'm actually using. But like in comparison, I like let's say I run $300 in gas out of my trailer
right,
a month. My electric bill's maybe gone up $20. So
right.
it's like that right there. I have no overhead, and right now I'm the only employee running the electric, so I don't have any labor costs. So it's all we had the upfront costs, and then
Right.
hopefully in 2 years I could pay it off, and then we're good to go.
That sounds good. I mean, that's a good return on investment because I think a lot of people, when they buy mowers, they don't really look at like how long it's going to take for it to be paid off. They're more optimistic and say, "Oh yeah, it'll be done in a year," and then it's like 3 4 years later, and they're like,
Yep.
"Man, I just paid this off, and I really now I'm at a point where I got to return more money and get another one," and they don't really
Yeah.
think that. So, I think 2 years that's awesome, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome for you totally like you said when it comes to electric. So now you said you were going to try to hook up a solar panel to it to be able to run fully chargeable out of that trailer, right?
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. I think that in the long run will actually help you on your electric bill too, as much solar that you could get on there to charge all those batteries on a constant basis. you might not even have that $20 spike in your electric bill. So
Exactly. And I was talking with one of the product managers at Echo, and they had sent me a product. It's coming out let's just say 20th. I'm
right,
lying, but let's just say that. So it's next month, and there's like all of the charging stations, like ChargeBot or whatever. It's like
right,
8 to 9 grand.
right.
So we went on to Amazon, found one that's coming out, and it's going to be more than double what I need, and it was like $1,700.
Wow,
And you were
that's
like
amazing.
going from 8 to 9 grand, going to $1,700, and then it just comes with the wire into the solar panel, comes with the solar panel and an extra bank. I mean, it was just like a no brainer. So I'm gonna go
Right.
ahead and pre-order that, and then about mid-April, end of April, we should have some videos on that going out. And then, like you said, I shouldn't even have to plug anything in. I can just plug it into that device and then plug in my mower overnight, charge that mower up, and then while I'm driving around the road, I can plug in the stander or whatever the case may be. Or if I have, Echo batteries that happen to die on me throughout the day, I can just throw those on there and it'll be charged by the next yard or whatever. I mean, it's like a 32-minute charge time from like nothing to 100%. So,
That's awesome, dude. I mean, to have 32-minute charge time, if like you said, if you can be charging at least a battery as you're even as you're working, if you said you got spare batteries, if you're charging them as you're working, I mean, you're going to have that battery to be able to switch out and be like, okay, I'm good to go. I can keep moving from job to job. The more you
exactly.
get, and you're not going to have to worry about it, running out of battery at all. So that's
Yep.
awesome.
And the tools, they don't overheat. There's no exhaust to them. You're not having to worry about your mix ratio 50 to 1 or whatever the case may be. Spark plugs messing up the heats. There's
Right.
none of that. So it just eliminates like so much for me. And like one of the biggest things I noticed is like, working in a gas trailer. Every time you open that back door, you just get like a gust of like exhaust every time.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are. And then with this trailer, I open it up. I mean, I even put one of those like tree air fresheners up. It smells like dandelions every time I open the door. It's just amazing. And it's
Right.
like you're thinking about the health benefits of it. I mean, that alone is just a whole topic on itself.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. I mean, you're not breathing in any of that gas fumes, like you said,
yeah,
and
ex-
that's that's a
exactly,
that's a big thing right there. Um,
for
Now
sure.
with it getting warm down there, are you worried about the batteries overheating, or do you know if they're going to overheat on you?
So I haven't done a summer with them yet.
Okay.
So far I haven't had any issues whatsoever.
Issues.
But one thing I do is I make sure I put the dielectric grease on the fins, on both the chargers and the batteries, and
Right.
then I bring the batteries in every single night, so they're not just sitting in that hot truck all night long or whatever. And then during the day I'm running the truck so much that cabin isn't really overheated too much. So
Right.
that's my plan. I'll let you know after summer how it goes.
Uh, you might
But I
you
mean,
might have to add an AC unit in there, and then you'd be
yeah,
like, then you might not want to come out of the trailer at that point. You
yep,
know,
exactly.
you might
Have
be
like
like,
one of
okay,
those cutouts.
yeah, you'll be like, man, it's nice and warm or cold in here all day long, So yeah, your guys will definitely hate you at that point. They'll be like, why does he get the cool trailer? Like
Yep.
we're out here heating ourselves up all day. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Implement the rule you can't open the back. You got to come through the door and shut it quick.
yeah, yeah, yep. If you're gonna open the back, you got 5 seconds to get the mower out and get it back
Yep.
up.
And you better shut it and seal it quick.
Yep, yep. Huh.
Oh,
So it you got 10 customers, you're planning on a lot more. I feel like it's definitely a good thing. And I think you're pushing a great way because it's stuff, especially with all this banning going on all over the world, and you're kind of getting ahead of the game. And I think a lot of people might be able to see that eventually and realize like what messed up, what did we do wrong, and what do we do to adapt. And I think you showing everybody your videos on your trailer setup, your how much all the stuff's in there. I think it's going to eventually help people out to be able to say, okay, well, this is what I can do to move on with going green or and going battery. So I think that's a great thing that you're doing there.
yes, sir. Absolutely. And that's kind of why I started this social media. I mean, I've only had social media for 1 year, and I've been in business. I mean, I started when I was 18. I mean, well, really from 14, but I got the business at 18. Now I'm 29. I've been doing it for 11 years, and I just got social media a year ago because I was always like, nobody wants to watch me.
Right.
So I kind of just opened it to, I've always been that person that wants to help. I always want to be able to give back, give my opinion, help you, give tips and tricks to just help other people's day get better. And that's what I started it, and that's what I've always done. I'll post my work, I'll post my ways of doing things and how I think it's done right, and tips and tricks, and that's why I got to social media, and it's turned out amazing. And we've got a boatload of people, and I think last month we had like 600,000 views. So thank you guys for watching. And I just love it. And, this has turned out to be exactly what I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be like drama filled or whatever like that. Social media, I just wanted it to be fun. You can come to me if you have any tips or tricks. You can come to me if you have any advice, or if you need advice, or whatever the case may be. Just be there for each other. This is a great industry. I run into landscapers every day, and I just really love what we do.
That's amazing. Just keep sharing, dude. I mean, that you got to. I mean, that's the whole point about this green industry is if we can share everything we know, it's like we're all learning nonstop, and that's one of the things we all need to do is keep learning, and it helps us out in the long run. So that's definitely.
Exactly.
So okay, I ask my people that come on here some weird questions sometimes. So I'm going to ask you a weird question here,
Yeah.
and I stump a lot of people when I ask questions. So this is one of these weird questions.
All
So
right.
if you were in a zombie apocalypse, how would you survive?
If I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would probably take over a Walmart, right? Because a Walmart has everything that you need to survive. You have your water supplies, you have your food supplies, and then you only really have like two entrances that you have to guard, right? So if you were to get a group of 10 people, say, you probably could live in that Walmart for at least 6 months to a year with 10 people. So I think the zombie apocalypse would be over by then. So I'd probably just take 10 of my buddies and take over a Walmart and just live it through.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, I think that might be the way to go. I figured because we're in the lawn industry, you'd be like, I take my battery chainsaw, I catch the zombies, I'd be weed whacking them. Like I'd be doing anything with the lawn equipment.
There
I mean,
might be too many. I don't know if I got that
yeah,
many batteries, but I know
I
I
think
got a couple locks.
yeah. I mean, we got blades, tons. I got tons of spare blades, I could throw blades if I had to, to
We're
make
golden.
sure. Yeah, I mean, they're not. It doesn't matter if they're dull. I mean, it's gonna keep going. So so
Yep.
that's one way. So
That's
it
one way.
is.
But I got endless food, endless water. I got TVs. You
That's
name it,
that's
Wi-Fi. I'm chilling.
yeah. That's perfect. I mean, I think that's the best thing too. Like if you're really thinking about it, you definitely want to go somewhere that there's a lot of stuff.
For
And by
sure.
going to a Walmart, going to a mall or something, you're going to be packed for a while. Even if you just say, okay, I'm taking 5 people and my family, and that's it. Like that's it. We ain't going nowhere else. Nobody else is coming in. You
And we're
know,
all set.
yeah, we're good. We'll just keep everybody out, keep the doors locked, and we're good. So
And you're golden. Not that I've thought that one through already or anything, but I think I got
hey,
it down pat.
yeah, I think you do. I think
There's
you
one
do.
right here on Gandy, but
That's perfect. If you got one right there, hey, you're good to go. I mean, you got
yeah.
to make sure you got something close by. That's all I say. So
And Scott, after this, kind of look. I want you to look up McDill Air Force Base, and
okay,
that's like right where I'm located. And I want you to look at that peninsula. What I'm talking about. So you'll see the bridges I have to take to every location. There's the Skyway, Howard Franklin, the Gandy. I mean, there's bridges everywhere. So
I'm gonna
that's
definitely
why
check it out.
I go over one bridge and I service that area that day. I go over one bridge. So it's a beautiful place to live. It's no complaints, but that's just how I structure out my business, and it's worked great. So
That's awesome. All right,
yes,
here we
sir.
go. Here's another weird question. Uh, if you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
What would it be and why?
Yeah.
I would probably say a fully loaded cheeseburger,
Okay.
because if I had endless amounts, right, you can take like the lettuce and the tomatoes off and you would have a salad. And then
Right.
if you wanted just straight meat, you can have your just meat. Or if you wanted the burger or a sandwich, or in a way, or a BLT, you can make a bacon, lettuce, tomato, take the meat off, and you got a sandwich. So I think that sandwich right there, particularly, would probably have the most choices of meals throughout the rest of my life. So probably that.
See, yeah, I think that's a good one because, like you just explained it, man. There's a lot of food left over. You can have different meals all the time.
Yep,
So,
as long as it's fully loaded.
yeah, definitely fully loaded. Just make sure
Yeah,
everything that you can think of when you have to get that. That's all you
yeah.
want.
I want
So,
mushrooms and all. We got it.
yeah,
We'll be good.
we're good at that point. All right. So moving on with the lawn care stuff, do you ever see, say, a couple after 2 years, if this is all paid off in 2 years, do you feel like you'll push to have another truck and trailer to go into the other areas?
I think my next move is a plot of land somewhere. I
Yeah.
think that's my next because I got to clear my front yard. Like right now, I got the red truck and the gas trailer, and then I got our Jeep, and then I got our open trailer, and then I got the new Power Stroke with the new electric. So I got three trucks and trailers lined up like it's like an artillery. And
Right.
I got to start clearing that. So I think I'm just gonna buy like a cheap piece of land. I could put a fence around, some cameras, put like a little trailer thing for like an office, and
Right.
then just start building that there, and then I can start expanding from that. But I think my next step is probably to find just somewhere I can start making a business, like making
Right.
an office and getting the trucks in and out, and then we can start our organization with storages, and then we can have the guys meet there instead of at my front door every day. I mean, that would
Right.
be great. There's a lot of like benefits to that. So I think my next move before another truck and trailer would be a plot of land.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think it is a good move. I did it like over 10 years ago, and I tell you what, it's one of the biggest things that has helped the business out tremendously. So, I mean, we get mulch in, we get everything into our land, and we run everything out of here, and that's the best thing to do. So, I think it's a good move because as you grow, like you said, stuff gets kind of filled up. Your yard gets filled up, and you're like, okay, I got to move this out. So by getting a piece of land and investing in it, you're going to invest in your business so much to where you're not renting from somebody, and
For sure.
that's awesome. So
For sure.
that's
Yes,
good.
sir. That's the goal.
That is the goal. So, is there any good tips you could tell somebody if they're wanting to start out a business now and they want to go into battery? What would you tell them?
What I would say is if you're going to get into battery, make sure you guys get the bigger batteries. Don't try to skimp. I when I first originally started, I got a lot of the 2.5s because it was like, oh, it's a lot less weight. And that just means it's a lot less juice, right? So
Right.
you don't want to be halfway through weed eating a yard and you run out of juice, and that's not what happens with the 2.5s. But like after that second yard, it is going to run out. So if you run that 5, you can usually do about 4 yards out of that. If you're going to run electric backpack blowers or the push mowers, those are the biggest eaters. So always use the 8 amps with those. I wouldn't even recommend the 5s. If I throw a 5 in there, it would be dead in like 20 minutes.
Right.
So if you're doing like a bigger leaf removal or something along the lines of that, make sure you're definitely running the 8s and the backpacks and the push mowers. But as long as you're, utilizing the biggest battery that you can without being too heavy, you'll be all right. So that's where I struggled a lot with, and I think that would be a lot of help to someone who's starting out with the electric.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, when I first started getting the battery from Echo, it was all the 2s and the 5s. And I'll tell you what, having the 8 now on certain things, we run an 8 for probably 2 days when we're out pruning. And that comes in a lot handy compared to when you're carrying gas around and you're going through 3, 4 cans a day. You're like, yeah, I know I should have switched up a long time ago. So,
Yeah, the eights, the eights are like, for instance, today I went and did a yard. I put the 8 into the mower. I push mowed the entire yard. Took the 8 out, put the 8 in the backpack blower, blew off the entire yard, front and back, and then took the battery out, and we're still full charge.
that's awesome. Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
if you were to put a 2.5 in there, that would have killed it just push mowing,
Right.
the yard, and then you would have another 2.5 to weed eating edge, and then you have another 2.5 for the backpack. So instead of killing 3, you didn't even use one bar and an 8. So
Right.
the 8s are definitely where it's at. They're a little bit more pricey, but definitely if you're going to do this, do it right. Get the 8s, and then you're not going to have a lot of frustrations because a lot of people quit when there's a lot of frustrations in it. So if you just kind of cut those frustrations out before you get into it, you'll have a lot better chance of succeeding. And that's where I struggled, and I think that's the best tip that I can give.
That's a good tip, dude. I think that's one of the things people need to realize. Especially going into business, you don't think about all that stuff. You kind of think about whatever is available right then and there, you know. So if they're giving you in the mower with a 2.5, you're like, okay, that's good. I got a 2. I'm
Yep.
going to be able to go all day with it. And then you get out to that first yard and you're like halfway through it and you're like, man, really, you know, this sucks. Like I ran the
Yeah.
battery out and I got to go back, charge it, and then come back and finish. Yeah. So I think upgrading your
Exactly.
equipment, if you can upgrade it as much as you can, especially when it comes to battery. Even on regular gas equipment, I think some of the times people look at, you know, us as, you know, getting in the business, we look at like a 225 and saying, okay, well, 225 is good because I can get it all the time. But go up to a 2620, you know, move up that little bit of
Yep.
power and just run it, you know, because you're going to be able to run that longer than you can the 225, and it's going to help you out in the long run. So
For
definitely.
sure. And also one more tip, like when you're looking at equipment, especially on like the Echo site, you
Right.
will see like you can get a backpack blower for $1,000, but it doesn't come with the batteries. Or you can get the backpack blower with 3 batteries, three batteries for 1,600. Okay, so
Right.
let's break that out. So it's an extra $600 for 3 batteries. That's $200 a piece. But if you were to go buy those batteries individually, they're $500 a piece. So literally, you're spending what one would cost on 3. So it's always a good idea whenever you go to purchase that equipment, save up that little bit more money and then get the better one with the batteries included, because you're going to be spending more money in the long run than you would if you would have just paid that extra 600 and got $1,500 worth of batteries within that purchase.
Right. Right. Plus, then if you get that battery with the eights, you're also going to get that 10% because then you're in the fleet program. And that's
Yep,
a lot of people don't realize that. You know, why not just up it up and make sure you're in that fleet program and get that 10% off? So I think that's one of the
exactly.
things people don't realize when they're buying equipment is that, like you said, sometimes they're looking at what can I get by, what's cheapest that I can get going and get going on this. But sometimes you got to upgrade it a little bit and make sure
Yep.
you're set for the long run. So um, pushing forward for the next year, do you see any hiccups that you might have besides? I know you switched the batteries, so is there any other hiccups you might think of that might come up?
Hiccups. The 700,000 mile truck. That's
That's it.
that's a daily worry. But it thing just trucks down the road every day, no problem. So, that's like my fear. My probably largest fear is,
Okay.
you just never know when it's gonna go. I hope to see 1,000,000 miles on it, right?
Right.
I think that's what everybody hopes. And I just take care of all my stuff and I treat it as best as I can. And another tip and trick that I'm working on with my guys is anytime you find one small thing wrong, just address it then. Because that one small thing, if you just leave it alone, it's going to turn into 2, and that second part's going to wear that third part, and then eventually it's all going you're going to have 9 problems.
Right.
And you don't want that. So with this truck, I kind of had that rule, anything sounds weird, anything's feeling weird. If something's break, and they're like, oh well, you can probably go another 2 weeks with it. Never do that. Just
No.
just always get it fixed first, and then it'll just sit just like buying the backpack blower with the 3 batteries. Do it right the first time. It might be a little bit more expensive, but it's gonna save you a whole lot of money in the future. And that's one thing that I've learned a lot. We'll put it like that.
That,
Is
that's
just
that's a big step, dude. I mean, that's I
yeah.
think a good tip because a lot of people, like you said, kind of just I can go another week. I can go, you know, I can wait a little bit to get
Yep.
the brakes done or something, and then the brakes are it's costing you the rotors, it's costing you, you know,
Now your
everything
hub popped
else.
off.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you lose your
now it's
tire.
just
You're
now
like,
it's a
"Whoa."
nightmare. You need
Yeah,
a new truck.
yeah, yes, definitely.
So it's
Uh,
just fixing those small problems. It's that just saves you so much in the long run. And I've established that into my business about, I'd probably say, 2 years ago. Just
okay,
anything that goes wrong, you just do it right then and there, and it just has helped me
right.
just the most.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Now, I got one quick question, and then we'll end this show for tonight, guys. But my quick question, and you know, I know you're new at this with new to the battery. What about sand? Is that going to affect the connections in the long run? I know you said you were putting dielectric grease on it, but do you
Yep.
see any problems with the sand getting in there and eroding anything?
So I don't.
Okay.
I mean, whenever I'm like for instance, let's say a weed eater. Weed
Right.
eater, you're buzzing above the sand, so you're not really hitting any sand there. The edger might kick a little sand, but the battery ports are on the top of the edger, so it
Right.
can't really get in there. And like I said, I do put that dielectric grease on there, and that's not just for outside components, but that's for like the humidity. Here in Florida, we have the humidity like crazy. I mean, like even inside of this house, it's like 60% humidity.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's your batteries corrode. So that's like one of my biggest fears is the corrosion, the saltiness in the air. Like like I have Picnic Island, I have Ballast Point, I have Gandy Beach. I'm surrounded by beaches. So literally the humidity and the sand are all in the air and the saltiness. So that's one thing that I'm going to be facing. But I think just make you know that as a business owner going into it that you're going to have that problem. So as long as you maintain your batteries, keep up on that dielectric grease, making sure you're taking care of your equipment's going to take care of you. So I think that a lot of the performance is going to reflect the owner and the user. So as long as you respect your equipment and you treat it with respect, I think it's going to treat you with respect, and I don't think that you'll have to worry about the sand.
No, I don't think so either. I think that in the long run is going to help out. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, it's kind of like an enclosed system. Once you push it in, it's kind of closed up, and like you said, a
Yeah,
lot of it's up in the air. You're not getting, dirt or sand up into it. I've had that question multiple times because we run it, and a lot of guys are like, "Oh, well, you're pruning and it's stuff getting all through." And no, it's not. The pruning clippings fall. They don't
yeah,
fly in the air at me like
yeah.
air particles. It's literally there on the
They're-
ground. So yeah, it's hard to explain, but
yeah,
sometimes I think it's the best thing to kind of make sure you're taking care of your electrical equipment, any type of piece of equipment you got. So in the long
for
run.
sure,
So
for
um,
sure, for sure.
where can people find you, Tristan, if they want to get a hold of you? I know that you're on Instagram.
Yes, sir. I'm on
Give us
Facebook too.
okay.
Uh,
Give us your
So
handle just so everybody knows.
All right, so you guys can find me at Instagram at Lawn Express Lawn Care, and then on Facebook as well, Lawn Express Lawn Care LLC. And you guys can go follow us, like us, comment, share, message me. I message back every single person. I've never not messaged somebody. So if you guys have any tips or tricks for me, or if you need any advice, let me know. I'm here to help.
He is a real good guy, guys. I'll tell you right now. I was down to Florida and I didn't stop into where he's at, but I tell you what, he's a really great guy, and it you got to contact him if you got any questions with the battery or any type of things, dude. He's definitely the man to talk to. So thank you, Tristan, for being on. Uh,
Awesome, Scott. Thank you so much.
thank you to our sponsors, Cujo Yardware, Pro Parts Direct, and DGP Products. Thank you guys for sponsoring our show. You guys can listen to this again if you want on all your social channels or watch it live, any weekly episodes that we have on YouTube. So thank you, Tristan, and
Thank you.
talk to you guys.